Floyd Mayweather, self-titled TBE. Because of Floyd, a lot of boxers, a lot of promoters, a lot of managers do not want their fighters to get beaten. This era here is the most paranoid about taking L's. You know, not Floyd's fault, but you could arguably say Floyd's making, because his unbeaten record was his shtick. But that would have been many boxers' shtick if they managed to stay unbeaten, especially at the level that Floyd was managing to stay unbeaten. Not Floyd's fault, but you can say Floyd's making, let me repeat. Now, Clarissa Shields, she lost an MMA fight. Boxing fans who were tearing her a new one, and I'm not going to stop you. I'm tempted to myself. But let's remember, taking an L in MMA is not the same as taking an L in boxing. Now, she's not doing UFC, but the principles are the same. You take an L in UFC/MMA, as long as you're in an entertaining fight, you can come back, win a couple more, you can get back in contention, they'll put you on pay-per-view, the crowd will pay to see you. In boxing, they're literally kicking you out the door before the paint has dried on your L. Now, it was a competitive fight, split decision. Maybe if she got knocked out, I might even throw a few jabs. It was a competitive fight. I can't vouch for how credible the opponent was, but it was competitive. People are going to say, Beats, why are you capping for Clarissa Shields? I'm not really capping. I don't believe I'm capping. There's enough people out there getting their pound of flesh, and that's fair enough. That is fair enough, because she does a lot of talking. But at the same time, she lost a close fight. A lot of people said it was a robbery. I only really saw the last round in detail. But unless you're going to contradict what I'm saying and give me a different account, she hasn't been screaming blue murder, I was robbed, I was robbed. It looks like she's took the L pretty well, unlike other American boxers we could talk about recently. So unless somebody says, nah, Beats, you got it wrong, she's saying she got robbed, we have to say, you know what I mean, that she can at least take an L. As much as a diva she is, she could take an L. So Canelo laid down the law to Ryan Garcia. He's wasting a lot of time, wasting his talent. I look at him, I don't see him 100% dedicated. And to us, that's a bad signal. I tell you what, if I was Eddie Reynoso, I would tell Ryan, and I told everybody on Twitter, don't come back to the gym unless you're serious. And when you come back, you're going to get one more shot. And if you're not serious, it's bye-bye, rye-rye. Simple as that. Now, you've got to be careful with this one, because Rolly's an oddball. It will be easy to convict him before the facts come out, and I'm not going to do that. It seems like whatever social media application this is, a few women have got stories and testimonies. Will it get to the police about Rolly trying to sexually assault them? I'm not going to read them out. But it looks like 5 women are claiming they have the same exact story. The real Rolando, Rolly Romero. It kind of relegates the fight with Tank to the back burner until all this is cleared up. Has to be cleared up, surely. Or is it a hoax, or is it real? Before anyone jumps to a conclusion, I'm not taking a side, but these internet profiles, from what I know, can anyone authenticate how real they are? What does it really say? What if somebody's got it in for him and wants to F with him? I don't know. I'll take the position of being very cautious until some actual names come forward and pursue these issues through the proper channels. I'm not talking about Gloria Allright, I'm talking about the police. Will David Benavidez even get in a ring this year? He was scheduled to fight UZCA in August, then caught COVID. Benavidez has since recovered, only for UZCA to get popped for EPO. The bout was scheduled for November the 13th. They've got a replacement, KYRONE Davis, who up until 2015 was fighting at 153. His last 2, that was this year, was a split draw with Anthony Durrell and an 8-round points victory over Martez McGregor. He weighed in 167 for the Durrell bout, 170 for the Martez McGregor fight. Not surprised that UZCA popped. Is anyone surprised if anyone pops these days? I have a feeling that KYRONE Davis, I don't know much about his career. I have a feeling that this sudden jump to 167 and 170, which he's weighed for his 2 fights this year, from 159 in his one fight last year is COVID weight. You know, with the gyms not being open for a long time last year, and for the infrastructure of boxing to get the wheels turning again and cards being made, a lot of fighters are probably carrying a little COVID weight. Probably going to be a little too small to give David Benavidez a test. He only has 6 KOs in his 19 fights, so he's not exactly Julian Jackson in there. Although, I mean, he's got a draw with Anthony Durrell a little past his best. Benavidez did get a stoppage win over Anthony Durrell, but let's not go too deep into the triangle theory here. So we'll see if he can give David Benavidez some kind of workout, at least. Benavidez, 2 fights in the last 2 years, might have a little ring rust in there. A lot of people are very high on David Benavidez and his prospects of being something in the game. I'm in the middle, and more to the skeptical side of the middle as well. I'm not sure about that. Needs to get a move on. I like watching his fights. I like him offensively. I just don't know if he has the skills to be what people are saying he can be. I don't know if it's just down to the COVID. That would be giving the PBC too easy an out, perhaps. But I've been watching boxing a long time, and a prospect with the ability that JARON ENNIS seems to have would never have took this long to be brought along in years gone by. He takes on Thomas DELORME tomorrow, or today, let's say, at the Mandalay Bay Resort Casino, Las Vegas. DELORME is 25-5-1, which has a perfect record of 27-0, no defeats, no draws, 25 knockouts. And he'll be a heavy favourite, according to the bookmakers, against Thomas DELORME. DELORME, a little shot-worn, got battered by Terence Crawford. I guess Boots is going to want to do a quicker job than what Terence did. But Boots looks too good to be inactive. He looks too good to have to be fighting Thomas DELORME at this stage of his career. And I don't see nothing on Virgil Ortiz's schedule or his schedule why they can't fight between post-fight of Boots and the likelihood he beats DELORME and then fighting early next year. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that the American media are not hyped and jacking up something like that, really trying to put the pressure on the boxing fans, it just tells me that... Anyway, leave it. In all truth, I'm probably going to get up and try and find a way to watch Boots. You know what I mean? I'm probably going to get up and watch it because I'm a fan of his style. I like watching Boots. So I'm probably going to get up. I'm saying, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'm probably going to get up. You know what I mean? It's a shame that there isn't the passion behind really good boxers. I mean, you put a whole load of passion behind Deontay Wilder, but what about the rest of the boxers? What about the rest of them? How does that work exactly? The card is headlined by Jamal James. He takes on Radzab BUTAEV, defending his WBA interim title at 147. So where does James fit in with the WBA's plans? There's a 4-strong man tournament where Jamal James takes on Radzab BUTAEV tomorrow. Don't know much about him. And UGAS meets someone named Emantios Stanionis. Let's just assume that Jamal James beats his opponent and UGAS beats his opponent. Is that the next fight to reduce the number of belts and get us one cohesive WBA champion at 147? We'll have to see. UGAS is not happy about being forced into this tournament. He seems to be claiming that Mendoza from the WBA has reneged on allowing him to seek out more prominent opponents, mainly Errol Spence. He had 30 days to reach an agreement and take part in the tournament. Are they going to strip him anytime soon is the question. You know, he wants the Errol Spence fight, but how can you pursue fights like Errol Spence right now? Errol Spence is an intangible right now. We don't know if he's going to box again or what he's going to do. I can understand him not wanting to, let's say, lower his standards, taking on BUTAEV for Stanonius after beating Pacquiao. Because he's just beat Manny Pacquiao, so he's thinking, man, I'm looking at big-time fights right now. But at the same time, I understand that the WBA cannot let him languish, probably fruitlessly pursuing Errol Spence Jr. He doesn't want to fight Stanionis. because he hasn't really done much. What has BUTAEV done to earn a right to be in the tournament? I don't know. Maybe the WBA should just be ordering him to fight Jamal James directly and that's it. Forget this tournament. I don't think nobody wants to see the tournament. Just make him fight Jamal James. That's mandatory. There's no need for a tournament to clean up that belt situation. And let's face it, Errol Spence don't want Yordenis Ugas right now. Mentally and physically, he's not ready for that. I don't know when he's going to come back, but whenever he does, he's not going to be ready for UGAS. I don't believe so. And I'm not going to blow up UGAS too much because he beat Pacquiao, but I'm not sure if Errol Spence is not damaged goods at this stage right now. I'll just be honest. Somebody said it's not a big deal when I spoke about Johnny Fisher selling 1,300 tickets. He sold 1,300 tickets, and he's only had 3 fights. He sold 1,300 tickets, and he's only having an 8-rounder. Huh? It's quite a big deal. And that's just a building fan base he has now. That's just early days fan base. This man ain't got no big amateur career. How long do you think it took him to amass that fan base? He hasn't been boxing that long. I think when people hear me talking about certain guys like a Johnny Fisher, and I speak about his ticket sales, they get a bit in their feelings and think, oh, you're trying to say he's some good heavyweight. No, I didn't say that. He's crude. He's very crude. He's strong. I don't know where he's going to go. No, I didn't say that. I'm saying he has drawing power, whether you like it or not. His family are involved in promoting him. They're very enthusiastic. That Essex mob are going to turn up. The more he can progress, the more they'll turn up. I was watching an interview with him today, and when Dillian pulled out of the Otto Wallin fight, he wanted to step in and fight Otto Wallin because he didn't want to refund back them tickets.
It's all win for me, all lose for him, so it was never going to happen really, but I was deadly serious.
Do you believe that sort of, on a actual level, I sort of had a feeling it wouldn't happen because I imagine the board probably may not have sanctioned it because there is a level difference. You are only early in your career.
He didn't want to refund them back. He was prepared to fight Otto Wallin. Now, in all truth for Otto, there wasn't much to gain. The only person who could gain from that is Johnny. If Johnny got an upset victory, he'd be like, oh my God. And even if he gave Otto a decent fight, that's in Johnny Fisher's favour because he's a novice. So it was unlikely to happen when you base it on facts like that. But the interviewer and Johnny was saying more than likely the British Board of Control wouldn't have sanctioned the fight because Johnny's a novice and Otto is way more experienced. But I'm thinking to myself, well, how the fuck did Mario Heredia get in the ring with Filip Hrgovic the other year? That was a terrible matchup. How did he get in the ring? Are you telling me Mario Heredia is in better physical condition than Johnny Fisher? I don't care that Mario Heredia's had 23 fights. You ain't going to convince me that he done a whole load of training in prep for that Hrgovic fight. We've got trial horses, not journeymen. I think a lot of people don't know what a trial horse is from a journeyman. Getting battered all around boxing all the time. You're telling me a fit guy trained by Mark Tibbs, one of the more known trainers in our game, and that's not only Mark Tibbs, that means he'll get the experience of Jimmy Tibbs as well, training him. He hasn't got no other job. All he does is train, eat, fight. He's not more prepped to fight some of them contenders than some of them trial horses, or let's just be honest, bums who may be coming off a 10-hour shift at their other job and haven't been doing no training, getting starched out in 2 or 3. He's no more equipped to fight Otto Wallin than them. It's a joke. That's an absolute joke. So Efe Ajagba, he's still a prospect. Okay, he lost to Frank, the Cuban, the other month, right? Cool. But he's still a prospect, right? Now, when he was on the come-up, he fought Largo Kiladze, right? Really a career cruiserweight, yeah? He fought Largo. Largo was knocked out 3 times on the bounce. Adam Kawanaki, Michael Hunter, and Joe Joyce. 3 consecutive knockout losses. Then had a split draw against Robert Alfonso. Then they fed him to Efe Ajagba. So he's qualified to fight a top prospect on that type of form. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but I'm saying it's a massive double standard to say that Johnny Fisher cannot fight Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin's not a concussive banger or anything like that. Johnny could give it a go for a couple of rounds. And if he starts taking stick by the 4th and 5th, you know what I mean? We get Jimmy and Mark to throw the towel in. Oh, well done, Johnny. Well done, Johnny. Yay, and all that shit. You know what I mean? And Eddie will come with his collateral damage speech to tell us he's one for the future. He showed art, bravery, and what a scrap it was. He'll do all that, and then we're all good. Big deal. Let me repeat, I don't have no problem with... Let me repeat, I've got no problem. I mean, even if they were to recycle Kaladze today to fight another prospect, it wouldn't be ideal, but I wouldn't say too much because that's how boxing goes. You feed them stiffs to pad up their records. It's always been a part of boxing. And in saying that, Kaladze nearly got a jabber out of there. So I understand the process. It just seems a bit weird why you would have to protect Johnny from Otto. But if Otto was on some card in Europe or somewhere, they'd have no problem feeding him some no-hoper who hadn't done nothing in a long time, out of shape, to pad his record up. In fact, if Kaladze is still fighting, that won't be a bad opponent for Johnny Fisher by his 8th, 9th or 10th fight. So Billy Nelson, he's talking about massive fight accepted yesterday for Martin Bakole in December. Big step up. One he's been seeking for a long time. There was a lot of speculation. Tony Yoka's name come up a few times. Michael Hunter rematch. The Hrgovic eliminator. Then some people said, yeah, big fight for Martin. Lucas Brown. Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury wouldn't be a bad fight. Lucas Brown would be an absolute contradiction to that statement, Billy. So it better not be Lucas Brown. Who would you like to see Bakole fight? Let me know in the comment section, if you care. I'm out for presidents to represent me. Say what? I'm out for presidents to represent me. Say what? I'm out for dead presidents to represent me. Okay, so in a lineup, we have Mauricio Suleiman from your left to right, Paco Vacarel, Gilberto Mendoza, and Daryl People. So that's from left to right, WBC, WBO, WBA, and IBF. All the presidents have met up today. They've met in person. They've released a joint statement, which includes today's meeting was very productive, especially in discussing a possible future agreement in search of a standardized title unification process.
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
You know, I don't know if they think we're that gullible. It's not that we're gullible. We love boxing, so we get let down on a lot of promises and we're back the next week. But we're not that gullible. We don't believe that anything you said there is going to manifest into what we want as boxing fans.
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
Yeah, I can imagine how they're trying to bloodsuck more sanctioning fees out of the fighters and out of the game. I can imagine that discussion. How they could get away with more corruption, working out if they can fit another fucking weight class between light heavy and cruiser. I can imagine it. So what's the photo opportunity for? To reel us in? Try to convince us that there's going to be positive change. I believe it when I see it. Why don't you hold a public forum where we can hear what you're discussing and actually throw some ideas and some of our frustrations at them? Why don't they do that and make it a regular thing?